I invite you to relax, breathe, and journey with me into tonight's story. Heather and the Little Explorer. This story is about a young girl named Heather, who meets a tiny explorer named Borage, and embarks on a magical adventure that inspires her to keep exploring and dreaming. In the picturesque village of Green Ridge, nestled among rolling hills and vibrant flower meadows, lived a young girl named Heather. Heather was a curious and spirited child with a heart full of dreams and a head buzzing with questions. One starry night, as she lay in bed, gazing at the constellations painted across the sky, she heard a gentle rustling outside her window. Peeking through the curtain, she saw a tiny figure dressed in luminescent lights, an elf-like creature with wide, curious eyes. "Hello, I am Borage, the little explorer," the creature introduced itself. Heather's eyes widened in wonder. She had heard tales of the little explorers. "Where do you come from?" she asked softly, not to wake her parents. Borage's eyes twinkled as they began to share their adventures. The dreaming forest was a magical place, where the trees sang lullabies and the rivers sparkled with secrets. Borage himself had set out to explore the world beyond, to gather stories and inspiration. "Shall we go on an adventure?" Borage offered, extending a hand made of delicate bark. Heather, her eyes shining with excitement, nodded eagerly. Hand in hand, they stepped into a world of wonders. Through moonlit glades and over whispering brooks, Heather and Borage journeyed. It discovered flowers that glowed with the colors of the sunrise and talked to wise old owls, who shared tales of ancient times. Hours felt like minutes, and Heather's heart swelled with inspiration and joy. As the first light of dawn kissed the horizon, Borage led Heather back to her home. "Remember, Heather, the world is full of wonders waiting to be discovered. Be exploring and dreaming," Borage whispered before vanishing into the first rays of morning light. Heather returned to her bed, the adventure playing like a sweet melody in her mind. She knew she would always carry the spirit of discovery within her, inspired by her night with the little explorer. Another story awaits to ease your night. Euphorbia and Brave Feet, a tale of devotion. This story is about the deep bond and unwavering devotion between a young woman named Euphorbia and her brave puppy, Frisia. In a charming village nestled between rolling hills and crystal-clear rivers, lived a young woman named Euphorbia. She was known throughout the village for her kindness and compassion. Beside her was Frisia, a small but courageous puppy with a heart as big as the sky. Every morning, the duo would embark on a walk through the enchanted forest near their home. The forest was teeming with life, its emerald canopies alive with the sweet songs of countless birds. On one particularly sunny morning, Euphorbia noticed Frisia was unusually quiet. Concerned, she knelt beside her faithful friend, looking into his expressive eyes. Frisia nuzzled her gently, a sign that everything was alright. Despite Frisia's reassurance, Euphorbia felt a twinge of unease. Days passed, and Frisia, though still vigilant, started to tire easily. His once boundless energy seemed to diminish. One evening, as stars twinkled in the velvet sky, Euphorbia made a vow. She resolved to find out what was troubling her brave companion. Euphorbia approached the wise old healer in the village, who lived in a quaint cottage, surrounded by aromatic herbs and blooming flowers. The healer listened intently as Euphorbia spoke of Frisia's ailment. Offering a knowing smile, the healer handed Euphorbia a small vial of golden liquid. "This potion will restore strength," she said. "But remember, healing comes from the heart too." Laughing with renewed hope, Euphorbia returned home. That night, she held Frisia close, whispering words of love and encouragement. She administered the potion with a gentle hand, watching as Frisia's eyes began to regain their spark. Days turned into weeks, and Frisia's vitality returned. Euphorbia and Frisia resumed their walks, the forest still as magical as ever. Their bond, forged in the flames of devotion, grew stronger. They faced every new day with the same unwavering spirit. They were and would forever be each other's greatest source of strength and joy. Wherefore is another tale to carry you further into rest. Euphorbia and the Little Explorer, a journey of growth. This story is about a gentle woman named Euphorbia and a curious girl named Susan, who learn the values of growth and perseverance through tending a garden together. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, there lived a wise and gentle woman named Euphorbia. The garden bloomed with flowers of every color, a testament to her nurturing spirit. Susan, a curious and adventurous little girl from the nearby village, admired Euphorbia's garden from afar. On sunny morning, Susan wandered into Euphorbia's garden, mesmerized by its beauty. "Welcome, little explorer," Euphorbia greeted her with a warm smile. "Would you like to learn how to make a garden grow?" Susan's eyes sparkled with excitement as she nodded eagerly. Euphorbia handed Susan a small shovel and a packet of seeds. "First, we must prepare the soil," she explained. Together, they worked the earth, turning it until it was soft and ready. "Now, place the seeds gently and cover them with soil," Euphorbia instructed. Susan mimicked her movements carefully, feeling the connection between her hands and the ground. Days turned into weeks, and Susan visited the garden daily, watering and tending to her seeds. She learned to recognize the signs of growth, the tiny sprouts that poke through the soil like a promise of life. "Growth takes patience and care," Euphorbia said softly. "It is a journey that requires us to nurture and protect what we have planted." Susan took these words to heart. One day, as Susan was watering her plants, she noticed one of the sprouts had wilted. Tears welled up in her eyes, but Euphorbia knelt beside her. "Not all seeds will grow, but that doesn't mean we should stop trying," she comforted. Susan nodded, understanding the lesson. Together, they replaced the wilted sprout with new seeds, continuing their journey of growth. As the seasons changed, so did the garden. Vibrant flowers and tall plants stood where bare earth once was. Susan felt a deep sense of accomplishment and a newfound respect for nature. She had grown along with her garden, learning the values of perseverance and hope. "Thank you, Euphorbia," Susan said one evening as they watched the sunset paint the sky in hues of pink and gold. "You have taught me so much." Euphorbia smiled, her eyes twinkling like stars. "Remember, little explorer, the journey of growth never truly ends. It continues with every new seed we plant and every lesson we learn." Susan knew those words would stay with her forever. And so, as the days turned into years, Susan tended to her own garden, her heart full of the wisdom Euphorbia had shared with her. Our next tale awaits, calm and heartwarming. Azalea and Star's Seasonal Adventures. This story is about the heartfelt adventures of a girl named Azalea and her curious kitten Star as they explore the beauty of the changing seasons together. Once upon a time, in a quaint village surrounded by picturesque landscapes, lived a young girl named Azalea and her curious kitten named Star. Azalea had long, flowing hair the color of autumn leaves, and Star had fur as white as winter snow. They shared a special bond, always exploring the beauty of nature together. One crisp spring morning, they set out on their first adventure of the season. Fresh blossoms mingled with the scent of dew as they wandered through fields abloom with wildflowers. With each step, Star counts to fluttering butterflies, while Azalea collected delicate petals to create a floral crown. As the days grew warmer, they welcomed summer with open arms. Azalea loved the playfulness of summer breezes and the shimmer on the river's surface. Star chased her own shadow under the watchful eyes of a glowing sun. They spent afternoons picnicking by the river, Azalea's laughter echoing as Star tried to catch fish with tiny, determined claws. Autumn arrived in a riot of colors, and the village was painted in hues of red, orange, and gold. Azalea and Star crunched through fallen leaves, their steps sounding like whispers from the earth. They gathered acorns and pine cones, Star batting playfully at everything within reach. From chilly evenings, they huddled together, sharing warmth and stories of their seasonal escapades. Winter blanketed the village in a serene, white silence. The first snowflakes of the season filled the air, like frozen confetti, delighting Azalea and Star. Together, they made snow angels and built a snowman, using berries for his buttons and twigs for arms. At night, they curled up by the fireplace, Azalea reading tales of far-off lands as Star purred contentedly in her lap. Their adventures were many, each season bringing a unique joy that they cherished. Through spring's renewal, summer's exuberance, autumn's abundance, and winter's calm, Azalea and Star grew closer, their hearts intertwined, with every moment spent together. And so, in their cozy little village, Azalea and Star's bond deepened with each passing season, their memories becoming the tapestry of a life well lived. Until next time, good night and sweet dreams.